to Dharmic Evolution. Hey everybody, I'm your host, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. Hey, thanks for being here to visit with us on the Dharmic Evolution today. I want to continue to offer our support to all of you who have signed up on the Dharmic Evolution Facebook community page. Nice going. I see you stacking it cool. A lot of new artists coming on there, posting your content. That's what we created this for. So if you haven't done so yet, get on there. Show us what you're doing. Are you doing a new album, new video, a new single? You got some new photos you want to show off? Check it out. Put up your content on there. It's all about sharing the wealth of creativity. That's what we do. And if you have not yet heard about our Dharmic Evolution TV show, check this one out. Head over to the Joka channel on YouTube. That's the James O'Connor Agency. And if you do a podcast with me, what happens is 6 weeks later, the video goes up on the website, or on their YouTube channel, I should say, and carries it to everybody in the world in full-blown glorious video, along with WAV files, high-quality digital photographs, and everything about that particular artist that we're featuring for the day. So go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Check out the great episodes that are up on there now. I think we've got about 8 right now and growing, and getting some really, really great response about the video portion of this show. So you're carried on iTunes and SoundCloud on a podcast, and in 67 countries and counting, and also on the YouTube channel. Hey, and if you know somebody who's a killer singer-songwriter, musical artist, let them know about this platform and our ability to broadcast either you or their global career. You can easily sign up on the Dharmic Evolution website. Just go to guests, hit the tab, everything's there for you to sign up. Well, today we're in New York City by way of London, Venezuela, and Lebanon. It's another fine Berklee College alumni sharing her gifts and her music around the world. Give it up for London's finest, Sofia B. You better strap up your seatbelts and let's go for a ride. Are you a singer-songwriter, artist, or author? Are you in need of a platform for your career? Well, the James O'Connor Agency is in the business of helping you broadcast your global career. If you are needing to expand your presence in a big way, such as having your music and your voice heard around the world, well, look no further. We have the platforms here to help you catapult your career like no one else can. Your artistry can be featured around the world on the James O'Connor Agency YouTube channel. Here at the James O'Connor Agency, we can expand your global career by being a featured guest on Dharmic Evolution for singer-songwriters and everyone in the entertainment industry. Or The James O'Connor Show, designed for authors, speakers, and thought leaders. Both shows are international radio, TV shows, and podcasts. Go to the JamesO'ConnorAgency.com and find out what we can do for your global career right now. Today we are in New York City by way of London and probably other parts of the world with Sofia B. Sofia, welcome to Dharmic Evolution.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. And I got to just say that, when I first started this show, I didn't want it to be just in the U.S., so I kind of was really determined to get around to other countries. So we're now in 67 countries, and I have to thank you Londoners, for that, because I started really hitting on London, getting a lot of artists there to participate and be on the show. And before you know it, just organically, it just started reaching around the world. So thank you, London, and thank you, Sofia.
Oh, bless. Yeah, I mean, London is such a multicultural place as well. Because I'm sure you know, but for those that don't, I'm half Venezuelan, half Lebanese, but I grew up most of my life in London. And you wouldn't believe how many international people there are, specifically in the music industry, and it's really cool. I think that's why the music industry in London is so, reputable, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of had that vibe, it's like Well, what's the gateway to the rest of the world? You know, if you step out of the U.S., where's the obvious place to go? And London kind of has that, has always had that going on for it, you know? So, yeah, so it's really great. So tell us about you and what you're up to these days. Checking out your music, really, really cool. Love what you're doing. What are you doing these days? Are you recording, touring, a little bit of both? I know you're traveling.
Yeah, I'm currently in New York for 2 weeks. I just arrived yesterday. It's going to be kind of jam-packed, but in the best way. I'm playing, do you know Sofar Sounds? They do living room shows, basically.
No, so far, did you say?
Yeah, it's one word. It was started in London, but it's quite big in New York as well. And they're in, I don't know how many countries now, probably 60.
Sofar Sounds. I'm going to check them out.
Yeah, do. They're fab. And I'm doing a gig with them on Friday. And sometimes they film it, and you know the people that apply to go to the show don't find out the location until the day of. So it's really, really cool. And then I'm going on a songwriting retreat from the 21st to the 25th with a really awesome lady called Judy Stakey, who was the senior vice president for Warner Chappell for 20 years, and then started her own company. And I went on a retreat of hers this April in France, and it was just spectacular, and I had the most amazing time. So now I'm going to the alumni one. And then when I come back, I have a gig on the 27th at Pianos, which I'm really excited about.
Wow. So when do you rest? No rest.
No rest for the wicked, I guess. No rest for the wicked. But it's good. It's good to be going and stuff. I think right now, like, I'm not really recording per se. I'm just writing massive amounts.
Right.
I had a bit of a writer's block last year, and this year it's completely changed. So I'm kind of just being easy and kind to myself and allowing myself to enjoy the creative process.
When you had the writer's block, how did you work your way out of it? What was the process, or to just do it kind of on its own?
I think that the best advice I can give to anyone who has writer's block is just sometimes it's okay to be quiet. Sometimes if there's nothing to be said, you might just need to absorb a lot around you and be inspired and discover new music, or just take some time. You know, just because you might not be writing doesn't mean you can't work on your musicianship or discover new music and stuff like that. So I think, it's just about being kind to yourself and not being like, oh, what's wrong with me and stuff like that.
Yeah, we tend to, especially here in the West, have this, puritanical work ethic that you go into these guilt modes like, oh my goodness, I am not allowed to sit and take a breath and just do nothing and watch the sunset. I'm supposed to be working and moving all the time, right? And there's something wrong with that, because you're right, it doesn't allow self-introspection or just natural processes to go on and allow, to get to that well of the next wave of creativity or whatever it is, And
writing with others is another great way, though, I think, to take the pressure off yourself. I'd say of like writing an entire song. If you bring someone else in or another two people in, that can be huge for you. You learn how you are in writing with other people.
Yeah. I wanted to commend you on that. Going to the Judy Stakey thing and collaborating with all these other. It's so good to be around other like-minded people, and I think unless we schedule that in, we don't allow ourselves enough time to do that, and it's so necessary because we work in a vacuum too often. As writers, it's like, wow, I haven't talked to anybody in a week,
Right.
Had my head down, right?
It can get very solitary. So it's important to connect with other people. And even if you just want to show them a song and be like, this is what I'm working on, what do you think? It's just good to share. So
just get the mastermind thing going, right?
And the special thing about the retreat thing, though, is that it's like I have a new songwriting family.
Yeah.
So it's really unique. I went to Berklee College of Music, and obviously I've got all my friends from there, but I didn't really meet that many British kids. So now I've got some friends that are in the UK, and that's really been really great.
Awesome. So, let's give everyone a taste. What do you say, Sophia? This is Ice Cold Love. Here we go with Sofia B.
Winter was bleak this year, my love. We drowned in the dark of the hiding sun. The glaciers break and separate the ice pierced through my frozen core. I always thought you wanted me more. Drift did we do on our safety boats, both wanting to hide somewhere remote. Ice cold love, don't want no ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want no ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want your ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want your ice cold love. Tried my hardest to hold on to you, but you threw me away like an old pair of shoes. Now I know what cold hearts can do. They never think that your love is good. How could I tell you I was bleeding from a lifetime of pain and deceiving? I'm sorry, I'm just another person you're leaving, but I hope you're sorry. I'll never stop breathing. Ice cold love, don't want no ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want no ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want your ice cold love. Ice cold love, don't want your ice cold love.
Ice Cold Love. That was really good. You know, I thought that was Keith Richards playing guitar on that. I love the vibe of
Do you
this
know who's
song.
playing? It's
No.
so funny. That's my dad.
Is it
on
really?
electric- That's my dad on electric guitar.
No
My
kidding.
dad, he's a big inspiration for me. He's Lebanese, and he grew up playing blues and rock and just all sorts of stuff. And he was in a band with someone called Otis Grand, who is quite well known in the UK for being a blues guy. And I decided to not move, but I went to Lebanon for 2 weeks to record my album so that me and my dad could work together, because I felt that was an opportunity that shouldn't be missed.
That's such a rush. Working with your dad, it doesn't get any better, right?
I don't know if that's exactly the case. I mean, it was hard. It wasn't easy, but that's what was good about it. I mean, I felt horrible for being horrible to him about his bad notes or whatnot. I mean,
Right.
the irony was that, he doesn't really like to look at chords or read music. He's all about improvisation.
Yeah.
And yet all of a sudden, when it came to my music, he was glued to a piece of paper, and I was like, give me that.
Yeah.
Like, just improvise. Like, that's what you're best at. Don't be shy.
Right.
But it was a really good bonding experience.
Well, that's what Ice Cold sounded like to me. It sounded like, I say Keith Richards because so many of the great Stones songs or records that were made had that kind of guitar playing where it was just, I'm not writing a part for this. I'm going to feel my way through this. And I kind of got that vibe on this song, and it just sounded wonderful. Tell us about Ice Cold. What is the story behind that one, Sophia?
Oh, Lord. So I went through a really horrible breakup while I was living in New York about 2 years ago. I lived here for a year.
I'm so sorry.
And what was crazy about it was that my guitar cracked because it was so cold. And that was where the idea came from. I was like, because I was so heartbroken, written all these songs for her, and then my guitar breaks because it's so bloody cold.
Right.
And that's where I got the song title from. And it was one of those songs that came out very quick. And immediately I knew that I wanted my dad to play like an improvised line over it. It was just pretty easy chords. It was I think it's quite a blues sounding track.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really love like the beat that we did, and just I don't know, it's a cool tune. I really love
It's
it.
very inviting, you know, emotionally, it's very inviting. I remember that winter. Yes. The cold
It was
winter
bad.
2 years ago. That was crazy. Yeah. And your
It was
guitar
bad.
crack, was it an acoustic?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
humidity crack. So like just the whole side just bust open, and it was just mad. I mean, it's funny because you can take care of an instrument, but if it's too cold, you can't protect it, you know? Like
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do. And that was a really like big eye opener.
Right. Right.
And I just sort of translated that concept onto the relationship that I'd been in, where I'd been dumped over Christmas, and it was a really, really horribly cold and terrifying time.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I made a cool little video out of it in London, and like turned it into something beautiful, which is cool.
Tell us about Venezuela. Tell us what it's like down there. What's going on in the country? Tell us about the music vibe. What's going on with Venezuela?
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
Things are really, really bad right now.
Yeah, I've heard some
we
reports.
I'm sure, yeah, it's starting to come more and more into the news and the press, which I think is good.
Right.
Basically, when I was living here in New York, all the demonstrations really started kicking off because there was a lot of student killings and kidnappings, and Miss Venezuela was murdered.
Oh, I didn't
And
hear about that. Oh my
that
God.
that was like right when I was living here, and it was mad, and it was just crazy. And this was when people sort of started to clock that Venezuela is really just under dictatorship. We're under a regime. It's oppressive, it's violent, and it goes against humanitarian rights. And aside from all of that, there's the fact that, you know, massive amounts of inflation. You know, we have loads of oil, but the government has not managed money correctly, and it's just completely corrupt. And I mean, I have some people left there, not many. Most people have left. I wrote a song called "We Are Listening Venezuela" while I was living here, because I was just so upset about everything that was going on. But I never released it
Right.
because I was too afraid. I just felt like, who am I to make a difference? And then this really incredible guy called Gustavo Dudamel, he is a Venezuelan conductor, and he became quite well known for conducting the Venezuelan Youth Orchestra. And he now conducts for the LA Philharmonic and is helping Bjork with some stuff, and just incredible. And he recently denounced what's going on. And that was when I decided it's time to just share the song, because I don't care if it doesn't become like a super well-known song. But for me, like, as an artist, you know that quote by Nina Simone, it's like, it's an artist's job to reflect the times.
Yeah.
This is my heritage. I lived there until I was 5 years old, and we left because things started to get unsafe, and it was just time. It was the right time to leave. But, you know, I haven't been back in 3 years because I know how dangerous it is. You know, the police are using tear gas. Like, if you just type in Venezuela on YouTube,
Right.
you will see probably the most horrific police brutality that you've ever seen. And there's just no need for it. There's just no need. So yeah, that's kind
Well,
of
thank you for that song, for having the bravery to do that. And it seems to be always the way, though, Sophia, isn't it? That it's always the musical people, the songwriters, the musicians, the conductors that lead us out of the darkness, you know, that take that step to say, I got to bring awareness to this. I got to let people know what's going on. I have to shine a light on this and find out what we can do to right this sinking ship, if you will. It seems
Absolutely.
like all cultures that always happens, you know. So we're blessed to be musical people.
Absolutely. It's a privilege, to say the least, to be able to know that I can listen to my own song or play my own song to help me, like, mourn what's going on, you know?
Right. And in every dark cloud, there's always a silver lining. So I think it's time to play Silver Linings. Here we go.
It's a bitter world that surrounds us. All I hear is the sound of humanity. All my heart knows is to sing. It's all I can bring in my battle to live. Cold is a spring awakening, while I'm cold and shaking here in the dark. I feasted on love for far too long. Will I ever be strong enough to stand on my own? Silver linings, I'm always pining for another. Oh, 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 silver linings, they're always hiding. Those silver linings. Oh, 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 maybe it's better I just get used to the view of you from over here, from the towers of Manhattan or across the Atlantic. My heart is still my own. Silver linings, I'm always pining for another.
Yes, silver linings. Oh, yeah. Nice. So that worked out well with our last conversation. So we were just talking a little bit about songwriting on the break in Nashville. So tell me about your aspirations for Nashville. What do you think would happen if you went down there?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm sure you can agree with me that like when you're a musician, it's like you just attract other musicians.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I went, I would probably just fall into a lot of cool situations.
Right.
I don't know, like it'd obviously be cool to go to all the like notorious venues and whatnot, but I don't know, like I went to New Orleans and I guess they might have kind of a similar vibe.
Right.
And I fell in love with New Orleans, and I just really love the South. And there's the Southern charm, and I mean, regardless of what's going on with this horrible rhetoric in this like right wing stuff, there are those who aren't like that, and
right.
that is something that is very beautiful about the United States. I mean, me and my friend Avery walked around New Orleans and just got to see how relaxed everything is. The food is so nice, the music, the jazz, the blues, everything. It's just such a beautiful way to live.
It's like a different world, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, New York is fabulous. Like I love New York, but it is. I remember when I lived here and being overwhelmed and feeling like I couldn't breathe and like just suffocated by just construction and busyness.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I love the city so much, and I'm very close to. I'm like less than an hour away from it, but I can only take it in limited doses because for me as an artist, I need quiet. I need to just like have no sound except nature. Like large doses of that, and the city cannot. You don't get many slices of that, unfortunately.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Although it's inspiring. It is inspiring.
She knows what the album will be called before it is even written, sometimes with even 2 titles. Focused, determined, talented. More Sofia right after this message.
Do you ever wonder why you were created and what you're here to do? Then the geography of the soul will help you to find your true place in this world. The music is so inspirational, including tracks such as I Want to Be Loved, State of Grace, and Ride On. James Kevin O'Connor is an internationally acclaimed singer, songwriter, music producer, entertainment agent, TV star, and a loving father who leads you to find your true place and calms your mind and soul in breathtaking ways. Buy Geography of the Soul today by James Kevin O'Connor at iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, jameskevino'connor.com. Geography of the Soul, a beautiful CD that you need to own today, by James Kevin O'Connor.
Sponsored by the James O'Connor Agency. Tell me about like your process, Sophia, when you're writing and putting together music to record. What do you do to prepare for your recording sessions? Like, what's a typical process for you? Do you get a whole bunch together, or do you write for a specific album, or how do you go about it?
The first two EPs, I knew what the name of the album was going to be, like before anything.
Right.
So I feel like you have to, for me anyway, I have to know what the project is going to be called in order to tailor the songs accordingly and for it to all fit and feel cohesive. And then, like, for example, the next record is going to be kind of different. I think it's going to be a 2-part album released as 2 EPs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
a really strategic way to do it. I mean, you're conceptualizing it the end before you even get there, which is great. I think it's really advanced thinking.
And then you have to really be strict on yourself about which songs make the cut.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are some, for this next record, I'm going to be maybe going back to some songs that are really old that I never released and felt weren't good enough. And now with a different perspective on life, I feel I can finally record them. Obviously,
what's your different perspective on life?
I mean, you know, when you go through a breakup or when you go through health stuff, I have Crohn's disease. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes.
So don't be sorry. It's not the end of the world, but it is difficult. Like, autoimmune diseases are very common now. And, you know, Crohn's disease does hold me back at times. And I have to be very honest with myself about what my limitations are. But, you know, it's about learning to sort of not let it bring you down, find inspiration from it, work through the pain. I mean, the amount of songs I've written that Crohn's comes into it is unreal, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, even if I'm writing a love song, sometimes, like, when I think about any other pain that I may bring up, it's usually that. And so, yeah, I've learned sort of how to channel that. I mean, as far as writing goes, though, I always start with a title. Like, it's very rare that I don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's usually something I need to address and I know that I need to discuss. I can't just start writing freely usually.
Titles are great, aren't they? I mean, I do a lot of that myself. I get the title first, then I go, oh, well, look at the imagination that can, what can happen from this title, a lot. And then sometimes I work with 2 titles until I settle in, you know, on the same one.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Sometimes I'll write a song and I'll have the title and then I'll go, oh, wait, that's not the title.
Right. And you don't have to decide, though, right away.
No, that's the great fun thing about songwriting is you can be flexible. Like, you can change your songs. Like, there's a song I wrote called Sleeping Beauty, and I have changed the lyrics like 60 times. I've come up with millions of different ways to produce it. I had a friend of mine sing it because I wanted to hear what it would like when a man sings it, and it's amazing. Like, it's fun to mess around like that, you know? Yeah,
isn't it? Like, I haven't done this in a long time, but when I first started going to Nashville, we would cut the tracks, and I'd do the rough vocal, and then we'd bring in a demo singer, and it's so funny because. And that was, you know, in the beginning I was going to go for publishing, and then I kind of deep sixed that idea and just said, it's not for me. but I would learn so much about somebody else grabbing the song and saying, wow, I would have never sung it like that. But I like this little piece that this person did on that, you know? So you always come away with some value from somebody who comes in to help you with something, you know?
It's always cool when a friend of yours says, "Oh, I really love your song. Do you mind if I cover it?" Like that for me, whenever that's happened, it's mad. It
Yeah.
makes me so happy because
The ultimate compliment.
right, exactly. It's
Right.
cool.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
tell me about producing. Like, do you self-produce? Do you have people come in? Who helps you with your production, or how does that process work?
So the first record was recorded with Daniel Cantor at Notable Productions. He's recorded Alison Krauss, Wyclef, and he has a studio in his house, and it's amazing. And his kids play in the middle of the house, but the control room is in the attic, and the sort of live rhythm section is down in the basement.
Oh,
It's
cool. I love
so
that.
cool. Yeah. And we kind of did it over a year, and he was also my professor at Berkeley. We have a very special relationship, and I think the record came out really beautiful because of it. And I had all of my Berkeley friends play. And then the second one was, like I said, recorded in Beirut with Raed Al-Khazan, who's a Berkeley alum. And he has his own studio, and there's this Syrian band that's up and coming in Beirut called Tundra Dugget. And the drummer of that band played on my record, and then my dad played electric. Usually when I come to a producer, I have a demo with background vocals. For me, background vocals are essential and key for my songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sang in choirs growing up, so that will be a big reason why. And then I'll say, this is what I want, and then we'll talk about the beat and the groove or this or that. Now, as I've gotten more and more into producing, I do like to work with a groove sometimes. So I'll just pull in a loop or make a little beat here or there. I've also been recording more like hip hop, R&B stuff as well, just for fun.
Right.
Just to like get better and stuff. I'm thinking of giving up on Logic though and moving over to Studio One. I've heard great things about it.
Oh, I wasn't aware of Studio One. Is that relatively new? Has that been out for a while?
Apparently it's like 3 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard from 2 producers that it's the way forward because you can do like note repeats. You can move around sections of a song and copy and paste the entire thing. It's
Right.
like very, very
Right.
simple. Yeah, from what I'm understanding, it's a great little tool now. So I might try and invest in that soon. But I use Pro Tools sometimes. I use GarageBand. It really just depends on what I feel like doing.
You use it all, huh?
Yeah.
Why not?
I went to Berkeley. Like I learned how to use them basic enough, you know. And I think that, for example, like I could never record like a singer-songwriter track on Logic. It will always have to be on GarageBand or Pro Tools. And if I want to do something else like that's more like electronic inspired, I'll use Logic.
Right.
Sometimes I will steal a loop for a more singer-songwriter song from Logic and pull it into Pro Tools because I just don't like recording vocals on Logic. I don't know why.
You mentioned about the background vocals, and I so agree with you. That's like the most polished thing you can do for a song is, you know, have really, really good background vocals in there. It just so shines it up, you know. Tell me about Berkeley. Tell me, how was that experience? I mean, that must have been like so awesome.
It was the craziest time of my life. I mean, I miss it every day, but I know how much anxiety I had while I was there. I mean, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease halfway through, so that was really, really hard. Like, I had to pull out for a semester. I had 7 hospitalizations in about 6 months, lost massive amounts of weight, and somehow still managed to graduate on time, took summer semesters. While, you know, some of my classmates might have been doing heroin, I was injecting myself with blood thinners on the bathroom floor because I managed to get 3 blood clots in my spleen. So it was a very weird, real time for me because I dealt with writer's block kind of in the first 2 years because I was just so overwhelmed by like just the massive amount of talent and inspiration. And I really love school. So I love to get good grades, so I was on the dean's list almost every semester. And I graduated.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah.
And I graduated with honors, and it meant a lot to me because 40% drop out within their first year.
Yeah.
So once I got sick and started getting better, that's when I wrote Mama Like a Girl, and that came second for the Songs for Social Change competition. And that was when I really realized, like, I have a shot at this.
Yeah.
Like, I need to start believing in myself more and stop, like, doubting that I could make a name for myself in the music industry. And, like, you know, my songs, I got a scholarship for a reason. Like, I found it really hard to admit to myself that I deserved the scholarship because there was a lot of jealousy. Like, if anyone ever found out at Berkeley that I had a scholarship, they would question it and ask me why.
Right. The cream always rises to the top, Sophia.
But, you know, it was a real privilege, and that's why it meant a lot to me to graduate with honors. I felt very fortunate to be able to attend Berklee College of Music, you know?
Yeah, God bless. I think it's time to play Soldiers. Here we go.
I see the smile you carry everywhere you go. Name the child that nobody knows. My friend, I feel it all with you. There was a time thought I'd be cut loose. Oh, we got battle wounds along the way. We would never ask them to change. Broken sparrows, we are brothers till the end. May this song let the light creep in. Soldiers, we're just soldiers in a war. Older just grows stronger when it's cold. Soldiers, we're just soldiers in a war. When I feel the cold creep in my bones, I'll remember that old town soul. Split a camel, drink some fizzy ale, for when we grow old to tell the tale. Soldiers, we're just soldiers in a war. Older just grows stronger when it's cold. Soldiers, we're just soldiers in a war.
Soldiers. What a great song. Why did you write that one, Sophia?
So when I was living in New York, I was so depressed, as I mentioned before.
Right.
And my best friend, Avery, who I met in Boston, she's an artist. We are both half Lebanese, and she was also diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and she had it really, really tough. So when I decided to move to New York and she was living in Jackson, we decided to take a mental health trip to New Orleans.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. I mean, we had so much fun. We ate such lovely food. We listened to jazz. You know, we got a psychic reading. We went and got beignets. We got those like snow cones. I don't know what they call them there. And yeah, it was just such a beautiful time. And there's something really magical about that place. And it was very interesting also to see like how Hurricane Katrina had affected But yeah, the song kind of just came from the idea of being like, you know, that phrase like soldiering on.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that's kind of where I got that phrase. And we're also both tomboys, so we both have short hair and stuff like that. So I wanted to play upon that dynamic.
Right.
And I basically decided to make a music video with a friend of a friend who is in Sweden, and it's a beautiful, beautiful video of a little boy and a little girl playing around in Sweden and just having a really sort of innocent, cute time.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it captures kind of like the essence of like just a really pure and good friendship.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Very, very good. Hey, let me ask you about social media. What do you like to do on social media? What's your favorite jam?
My favorite jam. I'm a bit of an Instagram addict.
Okay.
I do love me some Instagram. I think it's been quite a powerful tool for me. If you hashtag correctly and really think about it, you can really connect with some interesting people.
Yeah.
I struggle with Facebook more and more. I don't know why. I just do. I'm finding it hard to keep up, but I do know that it's a powerful tool as well. Twitter is something that for some reason, I'm verified, and I have no idea how that happened because I don't tweet.
Right.
But I know that I need to start getting a bit more into tweeting because I know that that's also an effective one. But especially with everything that Trump does with tweeting, it kind of makes me want to stay away from it even more.
Yeah. I always find it fascinating about how everyone's brain is wired to learn platforms in a different way. It's like one person just grabs onto one particular platform and says, I get this, I just understand it. And another person is, just equally intelligent, is just for some reason the mapping just doesn't work. Like, I don't get that. I don't get Twitter. I don't, like everybody has their own jam. That's why I find
that's such a good way to put it, because I have a record label as well, and one of my boy bands, they're not a boy band, they're a rock band. They're called the Relevant Elephants, and the founder, Zach, he is awesome at Twitter.
Yeah.
He is just brilliant at Twitter.
Right.
And just like writing funny things and current affairs and stuff like that. He got them a brand sponsorship or something like this with a like hot sauce company.
Uh-huh.
Because they're just so funny, and they play them in the office, they put them on the website, and I'm like, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? And that I think was through Twitter. Yeah. So, and they also posted something on Reddit, which I thought was phenomenal. And they made like $1,000 in sales just from this interesting Reddit thing that they posted. Wow. So, they're kind of a big inspiration to me because they know what they're doing as far as social media goes.
Yeah, I find that it seems to be, for this show and for musicians in general, Instagram wins by a landslide. Everybody, like the musicians and the creatives and the songwriters and people like that, all seem to be on Instagram, which I kind of like, because it seems to favor that platform, or we favor the platform. I'm not sure which. It's a combination, but it just seems to work.
I think, it's definitely the most successful, and I'm pretty sure Facebook now owns Instagram as well. So yeah. I mean, that's an interesting partnership. I mean, I'm curious to see how Facebook is gonna pan out in the next 20 years and stuff, because
they will own the world. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I do worry.
they're larger than many countries as far as their GDP. It's just so scary.
How, like, when you compare Facebook and Apple, how they compare now?
Yeah, I don't know, but they're two monster companies that just seems there's no stopping them. It's just crazy.
It is. It's a bit terrifying. It's a bit like, have you seen Black Mirror?
No, I haven't.
It's a really interesting show, kind of like touching on like the future and what could happen. And there was this one episode where you like have to rate people every time you interact with them, and if someone doesn't like you, you lose points and you can go to jail if you don't have a high enough rating. It's like, whoa.
Wow. I hope I'm long gone before that comes to fruition. I like just, hey, how you doing? You want to have a beer? I mean, that's more my speed, you know.
Right,
Too much
exactly.
electronical interface is a little scary. Hey, let's play the video now. This one is called "Let It Go."
Love is a word I can't forget until I find it, I'm in debt. Baby, can't you see there's nothing left for me. Time is a thing I don't regret, 'cause when it hurts I learn the best. I can't even lie, sometimes I wish I hadn't tried. Let it go, let it go. Don't wanna share my heart no more. Let it go, 'cause I'm letting go. Pain is a thing I know I fight. Love has always made it right. So now that I am free, I'll just have to believe. Let it go, let it go. Don't wanna share my heart no more. Let it go, 'cause I'm letting go.
Okay, so that was a very cool video. How did you actually get all those people to walk backwards in that video?
So I had to walk backwards and look like the right fool in London. But it was good fun. It was interesting to be walking around in this traditional Middle Eastern attire and have people look at me like I was basically a terrorist and be like, no, this is actually musical and a music video.
Right.
And I don't care if I'm making you uncomfortable because by the end of this video, you're going to be the weirdo walking backwards.
It was, it's so funny because when I first looked at it, I said, how did you get all those people to walk backwards? And, it's a green screen, but it never occurred to me that you were walking backwards because it looked very natural. It looked like you were just walking. So great job.
No, it was good fun. I mean, I had moments where I couldn't walk in a straight line, so we would have to like start again because
Yeah.
it did get kind of hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
You're another David Blaine. Very good. Very.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So tell me, we were talking a little bit about London and the gig scene there. So you were saying that the Londoners really, really love to get out and support live music, right?
I would say so, and I would say more so in like the notorious bigger venues. There are a lot of music venues in
Yeah.
London.
Right.
And yeah, live music is kind of ingrained in our society, I'd say. I mean, for example, like when one plays on the street, like busking or whatever,
Yeah.
you have to have a license in London. It's not like you
Oh.
can just go and play in the tube or the subway, like you call it here. Like you
Yeah.
have to,
Right. Do it right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the music industry in the UK, like it is quite prestigious, and we were talking a little bit about Brexit and how that's going to affect. It's going to affect hugely, specifically the classical music industry. The European Baroque Orchestra was founded in the UK and now has to move.
Oh,
And the
really?
founder was British.
Yeah.
I saw this on the news, and he just looked absolutely just heartbroken. So that's what I'm really afraid of, like how, British people are going to be able to tour and stuff like that's going to be harder and harder and harder. But that's the battle that we're all going to have to face
Right.
and fight for our rights and whatnot. I think it's such a shame
Yeah.
if Brexit actually pans out, but.
Really? Well, once again, the music will have to solve all things. All the musicians will solve this.
I wholeheartedly agree with,
Yeah.
with absolutely, because that's the only thing that people can listen to, I think, and go, oh God, what have we done?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so healing too. People, no matter what their frustrations and their challenges in life, they all always go to music for solace, and comfort, and that's why we're here.
The Ariana Grande concert in Manchester that she
Yeah.
put on? That
Right.
was absolutely phenomenal, and that really just made me believe in the world a little bit, just that little bit more, when
Yeah.
she got so many amazing people to
Yeah.
come together and make a good time,
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
really good.
we're coming to the end here, Sophia. Before we go though, I want you to please give us your website so we can send people to help Sofia B on her journey, where we can support you, purchase your music, find out where you're playing. We got to know what's going on with Sophia.
Sweet. It's literally www.sofiabmusic.com. Sophia's with an F. I am going to be doing like a revamp of the website, hopefully in like September or October, because I need to refresh. But
Right.
follow me there or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Awesome. Listen, it was really, really awesome for you to stop by and say hello to us today at the Dharmic Evolution. I want to wish you all the success and all the blessings that the world can possibly heap upon you in your career, and good fortune to you, Sophia.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure, honestly. Thank you.
There is a brand new musical act out on the airwaves called Mercy. It's spiritual. It's the truth unleashed, with scripture delivered by chaplain Christine Mercy, along with drums, guitars, pianos, violins. Behold, it's the brand new album from Mercy, titled I Am Victorious. I'm going home, back to the throne. Victorious, it's glorious. I've many rooms in my Father's house for all of us. It's glorious. Learn to trust in His name. Just recorded in the Music City on the world-famous Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee. Download the album or pick up the actual CD copy of I Am Victorious right now on iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby. And keep your eyes and ears open for the live performance tour of Mercy coming soon. This message is sponsored by the James O'Connor Agency. Ice Cold Love, Silver Linings, Soldiers, and the video Let It Go. Playing violin from the age of 5, graduating from Logic to Studio One, making the Dean's List at Berkeley, earned and deserved the scholarship, and we know the cream always rises to the top. Snow cones in New Orleans, the tomboys rule. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed our chat with Sophia today as much as I did. Really a great time being in New York with her, and she is a world globetrotter on to do really great things. I know you know it just like I do. Hey, if you have not yet had a chance, you should head over to the James O'Connor Agency. You got to check it out. Lots of artists around the world checking in, taking advantage of all the things this agency is offering them. And you may have also heard that we write songs for authors. That's very true. We just wrote and produced a song for alumni, distinguished Professor Scott Geller. We were in Nashville, and this song was, a great love of passion. And Scott not only has a flagship song now that supports his brand, actively caring for people, but he is also an equity partner in the publishing rights for this great song. It's being released next week, and it's called Here to Share and Care. I will feature this in a coming episode, so you can see the kind of work that you can expect from the James O'Connor Agency. Nobody writes songs for authors that I know of on this planet but us. Hey, do you need funding for your next album project? Well, go over to the JamesO'ConnorAgency.com. Let us connect you with the how to get funded. It's so easy, much easier than you think. Also, find out what we do for singer-songwriters, musical artists, as well as authors, speakers, and thought leaders. We also want to encourage you to visit dharmicevolution.com. Check out your show and your blog profile right now. If you've been on the show, you're now on the site. Sophia's now on the site, and people from around the world are logging in to see and hear all about Sofia B and her music. That's it for me today. I'm your host for the Dharmic Evolution, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. So until the next time when we meet again, I'll either see you on the socials or I'll see you on TV.
I remember where I was the first time that I heard your voice. Do you remember where you were the first time that you made that choice? You're my favorite song. You've been stuck in my heart for such a long, long time. You're my favorite song. You got a way of making me feel that you're mine. You would always close the wound right before I would bleed to death. Your infectious melody will be with me till my last deep breath. But you're my favorite song. You've been stuck in my heart for such a long, long time. You're my favorite song. You got a way of making me feel that you're mine. Oh, you know I love a 00. Hey baby, you're the perfect size for me. Oh, and how I love those yellow stilettos. You always knew how to